Learning objectives. After completing this module, learners will be able to describe water's constitution on the earth and its uses, define and understand the water cycle and its processes, describe the various forms of water on the earth and their impact on weather and climate, define salinity and understand its reference, describe the ocean circulation in form of waves, tides and currents, discuss the need to conserve clean water for future use. Water, its forms. We have read about the water cycle earlier. It consists of the processes of evaporation, condensation due to cooling, and then precipitation in form of either rainfall or snow or hail, etc. In evaporation, the water from rivers or seas evaporates and turns into water vapor, which then rises as it expands. This vapor, on cooling, condenses to form water droplets, which collect to form clouds. When the clouds become heavy, they precipitate or fall down in form of rainfall or snow or sleet, depending upon the existing temperature of the area. Some water even flows into nearby land. In fact, the same water exists even today as that of years before. The earth is hence like a terrarium in which big and small plants, etc., can be grown using the same water in a bottle with its lid closed. Water usually exists in form of freshwater rivers, lakes, ponds, glaciers, etc., or salty water of the seas and oceans. The salty or saline water has mostly dissolved amounts of common salt or the same salt that we eat. Salinity of water is the amount of 35 grams of salt in 1000 grams or 1 liter of water. The average salinity of the oceans is about 35 parts per thousand. Salinity of Dead Sea in Israel is about 340 grams per liters of water. Because of its density, swimmers can actually float on its water. Oceans constitute 97.8% of the Earth's total water, and the rest is fresh water. Water is essential for survival and hence needs to be conserved for the future. Ocean circulation. An ocean's ecosystem is characterized by the seashore, the waves, the cool breeze, the salt in the surrounding air, and its waves. While ponds and lakes have still waters, water in the oceans keeps moving continuously. These movements are of 3 types: waves, tides, and currents. When the water on the surface of the ocean rises and falls alternatively, it is called waves. These are formed when the wind brushes against the water on the surface of the ocean. The stronger the wind, the larger the wave. Sometimes in storm, the winds become very strong and hence cause the waves to be very huge. When an earthquake or underwater slides or volcanic eruption happens, it causes huge amounts of water in the nearby ocean to move in huge tidal waves, as high as 15 meters or above. Such a wave is called harbor waves, which means tsunami in Japanese. These are so called because the harbors get destroyed when there is a tsunami. Largest tsunami measured was 150 meter. Speed of such tsunami waves range about 700 km per hour. A tsunami occurred on December 26, 2004 in India. This happened on the east coast near Andaman and Nicobar Island. As a result of the devastation, the Indira Point got submerged. This tsunami was a result of an earthquake whose epicenter was close to Sumatra. The Indian continental plate went under the Burmese one and the ocean floor also shifted. Water filled in this gap from the coastlines. Thereafter, this water rushed back towards the land masses at a speed of about 800 km per hour, Then the speed of the water slowly reduced to 70 km per hour. By then, the havoc had been done. Several islands in the Andaman got submerged. While an earthquake cannot be predicted earlier, a potential tsunami can be predicted about 3 hours before. For this, early warning systems are used, especially in the Pacific region. This is because the Pacific Ocean bears a lot of seismic activity, unlike the Indian Ocean. Since 2004, tsunami here was a rare one. Onlookers were many and hence death toll high. Ocean tides and currents. Tides. The second type of movement in the ocean is that of tides. Twice in a day at particular times, the ocean water rises and falls rhythmically. This phenomenon is called a tide. This happens mainly because the sun and moon exert strong gravitational pull on the water on the Earth's surface. On full moon and new moon days, the moon, sun and the earth are in a straight line. Hence the pull is at maximum and tides caused are the highest. Such tides are called spring tides. In the first and last quarter of the moon, the sun and moon exert gravitational pulls on the earth in diagonally opposite direction. Hence, the net pull is at the lowest and tides caused are also low. Such tides are also called neap tides. While people are warned not to venture into the sea during high tide, ships use the high tide for easy navigation. Currents. The third type of movement in the ocean water is that of currents. Ocean currents are huge streams of water that flow continuously on its surface. The warm currents flow from the equator region to the poles, that is from higher temperature to lower one. For example, the Gulf Stream current. The warm current spreads warmth in the nearby land. The cold currents originate in the polar regions and move towards the tropical or latitudinal regions. The Labrador current is one such current. There are spots in the ocean that have both warm and cold currents, such as seas of Japan and around the east coast of North America. These provide some of the best fishing grounds in the world. However, they are usually foggy and make it difficult for navigation. Summary. Let us summarize what we have learned. Water is present as fresh water in form of lakes, rivers, ponds, glaciers, etc., and salty water in form of seas and oceans, and is required for the survival of living organisms. The water cycle consists of the processes of evaporation, condensation due to cooling, and then precipitation in form of either rainfall or snow or hail, etc., and this continues all the time. Hence, the same water continues to exist since ancient times. However, it is important not to waste or destroy the water. Ocean constitute 97.8% of the Earth's total water and the rest is fresh water. Salinity of water is the amount of salt in grams in 1000 grams or 1 liter of water. The average salinity of the oceans is about 35 parts per thousand. While pond and lakes have still waters, water in the oceans keeps moving continuously. These movements are of 3 types: waves, tides, and currents. When an earthquake or underwater slides or volcanic eruption happens, it causes huge amounts of water in the nearby ocean to move in huge tidal waves as high as 15 meters or above. Such a wave is called tsunami. High tides and low tides are 2 types of tides that happen twice a day. On full moon and new moon days, the moon, sun and the earth are in a straight line. Hence the pull is at maximum and tides caused are the highest. Such tides are called spring tides. In the first and last quarters of the moon, the sun and moon exert gravitational pulls on the earth in diagonally opposite direction. Hence, the net pull is at lowest and tides caused are also low. Such tides are called neap tides.